welcome, everybody. Coming off a successful Legends Awards dinner, man. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Awesome.
I
had a good day today. Yeah, Saturday was off the chart, even though the name kicked us to the curb. But Saturday was definitely it was off the chart. It really was. The MC guy, he did a good job. The older guy was better, but this guy did a good job. And the band, the music was on point. The DJ, the food was excellent, and we just had a real good time. It was good to see a lot of people I've not seen in a while, and but just honoring the honorees was really just amazing, And that young lady, she's gonna be something special.
What did you think about Michelle, man? Michelle was really, really great, man. What you think about her, Raj?
She was on point. She's special. Some people special, and you could see it. And she's comfortable with speaking very intelligently to adults.
Absolutely.
She knows how to control the crowd. And she know how to move the crowd already. She know how to do that already. I'm telling you. Absolutely. Remember that girl name, because she gonna be something.
Well, you know what, Raj, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. We're going to take time out to give Deneen a chance to talk about what's coming up on Sunday. We got something new and special and hot that's going to start Sunday. But what really makes it so unique? We don't display questions. They don't know what's going to be asked. So it makes it real transparent and answer from the heart. That's what sets our show off from any other show. That's what makes it unique. Yeah, don't you think so?
I think so. I think the show is organic. I think the flow of the show goes really well. I think we have a nice triple threat in different personalities, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And one of the things I wanted to say about Saturday was and even though I wasn't there, what I heard about was it was just great support from the community. And this is why we do this show, is for the community. And it was nice for the community to come out and support. So that was nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have a show tonight. We have a hot guest. It's election time. And we're gonna do what we can to help get our people elected. And we started last week with Shanika. She came on 20 minutes within. We got to get her back. 11 legislative acts went to the governor's desk and was signed by the governor from Team Henson. But that's not the show tonight. The show tonight is Councilman Pete Smith. You guys ready for Pete Smith?
Yeah, bring the brother on.
Should I bring him on?
My airborne brother. Yeah.
Let's bring your airborne brother on.
There you go.
Welcome to the show, sir. How you doing?
Appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation. Airborne.
Airborne, my brother.
So, Pete, you were here before, so we're not going to go through the gamut of taking you back and bring you forward. But what I want you to start with first is let everybody know why you are the right choice to be the county executive.
The reality is we're the most experienced one in this race, most qualified candidate in this race. And it's always good to have that foundation of a solid individual who has shown commitment to Anne Arundel County for well over a decade, if not longer, who has a proven record of making success with everything we're involved in. And just a commitment to show our citizens that it doesn't matter where you come from and what your beginnings look like, where you end is all that matters. And we have a fighting story to show how this county can continue to be a fighter and make sure she's successful for everyone else that calls this place home. So that's why we're the best candidate in this race.
Well, what will be your strategy for balancing the county budget without reducing essential services?
So I think for us, it's, I am an intel analyst. For folks that don't know, I spent and have been in the military for the last 28 years. In fact, April 14th is my anniversary date, and that will be my 28th year. But most of that time I've spent, I was an enlisted SIGINT specialist, and then when I got commissioned, they made me an intel officer. The reality is I've spent the last decade plus as an intelligence person looking at spreadsheets and learning about theories and finding trends. And so with all of that background, I think I've learned the best way to figure out how we can do better when it comes to our budget. And so for me, it's about fine tuning it so that we get optimal outcome, but also energizing it by getting making smart investments and also recruiting resources from outside of county government to invest into our county. And we've started that process. In fact, I have individuals that are willing to contribute and to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in Anne Arundel County. I've started the work already to make our county better. And so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the steering wheel so that I can show them exactly how we can be a great county.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And before I pass it on, you had a significant happening while knocking on doors.
Yeah.
And so how did you handle that situation, and how did you get the people that was helping you out calm?
So, I have a super supporter. His name is Mario. He's an older gentleman, probably in his late 40s, early 50s. And he has been supporting us for a number of years now. And he was the one that was obviously that was canvassing in that specific neighborhood, knocking on doors. In fact, the individual who verbally sort of assaulted him we didn't knock on his door. He just happened to see Mario when he got out the car, saw what color he was, and Mario was walking down the street to go knock on the intended voter's door. And so at that moment, the individual started sort of saying some crazy stuff to Mario as he was walking to the voter's door. So on the way back, Mario then took out his phone as he continued to sort of scream from his house. And that's when he started recording. So that was the second time he had sort of threw this barrage of words at Mario. And so I think I'm glad it was a senior seasoned individual who know what it means and knows what and understands what it means like to be composed and measured. Because I think, and I said this to the police officer who they did interview the individual that made the threats. They didn't charge him. He has a history of being erratic and saying crazy stuff. My concern is if you get someone who is not so measured like Mario was, and they, go in that neighborhood and this guy starts saying what he says, it is what it is. If he responds in a way that's not how Mario responded, I certainly wouldn't condone violence, but I would understand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Deneen, on you.
I guess the first thing I wanted to ask was, are there things that you would change, and are there new ideas? What new ideas do you have? Are you bringing?
Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, I have a bunch of ideas. In fact, I tell everyone one of the first things I want to do as county exec is actually build a trade high school. Not CAT North, not CAT South. They expose students to trades. I actually want to create a workforce organically with our student population that when they graduate from high school, they don't need to go through the journeyman scores. They are certified. They are, they have their certification and their license. And so they're ready to go and actually be employed in the workforce. We graduate some 6,000 students every single year out of our institution, whether that's the community college or K through 12. And so with that, there's about 80% of those folks that actually go to higher education like university and they go away. But about 2,000 or 20% of that population, not 2,000, but 20% of that population actually stays local. And so my goal is to empower them with skills so that when they graduate high school, they're ready to go in the workforce. I don't want to raise taxes. I think the government and does a lot of good things, and our tax money certainly goes to a lot of valiant efforts. But I don't want to go down that path. I want to go towards economic development and increase the pool of folks who have jobs and have skills, and increase the tax base that way, as well as private investment, so that we can raise the bar. You're going to see me invest in I want to build an athletic complex. I want things that are going to print money. There are parents and families and grandparents who attend sporting events every single weekend for their young kids. and they go to Pennsylvania, they go to Virginia. We need something regional that's going to be a one-stop shop so that every single weekend we're going to host these international tournaments or national tournaments, and it's going to print money because it's one of those assets I think we have been missing as a county that's going to bring value here in Anne Arundel County. You're going to see us partner with the federal government so we can get more interns coming out of our high school students. So not only do they have the technical skills working for the federal government like NSA and U.S. Cyber Command, but more importantly, they have the clearance. That clearance in this area is a ticket to prosperity. And so I want to make sure we are increasing the number of students who have access to technical companies, because they're dying for people who have clearances. The skill set is easy to train people. It's harder to actually get them cleared and in the building. And so for me, I want to organically grow the workforce so that it's producing things that add value to Anne Arundel County. So those are just a few of the things that I want to do within the first year of my administration.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Roger.
Yeah, see there. Thank you. Obviously, you have amazing analytical skills. You can tell by the way you talk. You already got a plan of attack. You already got a plan B, and you're right. Now, what have you done to start hitting young people towards that direction of what you just spoke of? And that's one, and that's part A. Part B is, explaining to them how very important getting those type of clearances are. Because once my nephew got those clearances, he's working at NSA, he did jobs, they was coming to him. He was no longer looking for a job. He had a job, he started off, he's making sad amounts, he's making crazy money now, but they came to him. See, so explain to them about how important getting those clearances are and why it'd be so much beneficial to them later on down the road to go down the path that you are beginning to blaze.
And this is, and you talk about the history of why I do these things and what I've been doing to prepare. That's why it's so important to ensure our young people don't do crazy things during their youth that would disqualify them from having access to these opportunities. And so we want to start early. So I want to explain what I've been doing to even prepare the administration, or at least our administration, for this future. Over a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I actually sat down with the superintendent, Dr. Bedell, in his office. And we actually had a phone conversation, a Zoom meeting with Rose. Rose is the Naval Academy's sponsor program manager. So any Naval Academy student that comes to Anne Arundel County, and many of you have heard of the program, they get assigned a sponsor family if they're from out of state. That sponsor family becomes an asset to that local student. So what I've said to Dr. Bedell is, I want us to mirror this for Anne Arundel County students. And so I want us to identify thousands of sponsor families, and then the school system, will identify at-risk sixth graders, just sixth grade, because when you get them in sixth grade, the age of reasoning, before they start picking up these significant bad habits and behavior patterns, what I want to do is assign a sponsor family with the guardian and that sixth grader. And so when you do that, and they're going to stay with that child and that guardian through middle school and through high school, when you reinforce a child like that with positive external members of society, it's going to aid them in being successful. We will teach sponsor families how to be proper sponsor families. But the good thing is, if that child needed a pair of shoes, or maybe it was something small that the parent, the guardian, couldn't afford, or that sponsor family may be able to aid. Maybe it's the sponsor family is going to a football game and they invite the guardian and the sponsor child with them, to that they become a second family to that child. And so when you embrace children when they're young that are coming from these bad environments, and you give them something positive to look for, and the person that inspires them, they're going to do great things. And so that was over 2 years ago. I had that conversation with him for us to start the foundation. I think Andre was one of the first people he said was going to be responsible for tasked with doing that. Now, Andre has started doing internships, building up the D9 organizations as far as collaboration with them within the school system. So Andre is a perfect person to sort of lead this effort. But under our administration, we want to resource it. I want to actually build out that program and fund it on the county side of the house. and then partner with the school system so they can identify those. And then every single year, another group of sixth graders will be assigned sponsor families. And then over time, you will see that those children that were assigned that sponsor family in sixth grade, you're going to see attendance problems drop. You're going to see grades increase because they're going to have a support system that is local to them that can aid them in being the best version of themselves. And that's one of the things we have already started doing since then.
Wow, that's magnificent. You know, what is going to be the prerequisites for that? Because you can't get every student. So what's going to be the prerequisite for that?
Yeah, what I tasked the superintendent with is identifying the at-risk. So there, obviously, we can identify families early on, especially if they have siblings. But you can identify, problem families or that struggle in elementary school. You can start identifying them then. So when they get to sixth grade, the school system, the principal, they've already, because usually you spend about 90% of your time on about 10% of the population. And so our goal is to identify 10% of sixth graders to make sure they have this additional asset that's championing them and pushing them forward and supporting that guardian as well as the student so that they don't become a problem when they're in high school or in their young adulthood. That changed my life. I know it will work because it worked in my life. And I tell folks all the time, I'm a middle child, and I'm not ashamed of my past. But my mom having 5 kids at 19 years old, and my brother being incarcerated for armed robbery and doing 7 years, or my sister who's 1 year younger on probation. Me, the middle child, my 1 year older sister who was in prison for 2 years, and then my 2 year old older sister who was also on probation. So I know how God works, and if He got me out of that situation with everything that I went through, the same thing that saved my life, I'm trying to recreate for those other individuals and young people so that they never have to go through the painstaking heartbreak that I went through growing up. They're going to have a leg up in society because I want to make sure they have the resources to get there.
Outstanding. Armin, we can't hear you.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence with who I'm going to vote for, but I'm leaning towards the other way. What would you do to bring me to your side?
I think for me, it's about realism. There is no one who is in this race who has sacrificed more for this county. There is no one in this race who has sacrificed more for this country. There is no one in this race who has done more for society in general with the thousands of kids that we help every single year, the 5,000 veterans we help get suit drives, the number of pieces of legislations we passed over the last 10 years. I am real. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. When you look at our resume, we have been there and we've done that. And for me, it's about taking that history and applying some of those best practices to benefit the county. And so I have a whole bunch of ideas. I'm the only one that has all of my policies on my website. We put our policies, appoint papers on the website so people can judge me, right? I want them to know what they're walking into. And so if you're on the fence, all I simply ask you to do is look at our report card and you will see this brother right here has been doing his homework. And all I'm asking folks to do is just to say, to reward that hard work and that effort with confidence. There's this quote that I really love. It says, I don't want people to vote, to believe in me, to believe in me because that's what good leaders do. They make people believe in them. I want people to believe in themselves. That's what great leaders do. Because when we bring all of us together, we're going to really change Anne Arundel County. And so that's what I'm bringing to the table.
Wow, that's what I'm talking about. Now, in the city of Annapolis, not just Annapolis, but the surrounding areas, there's a traffic problem. What steps would you take to improve traffic and road conditions, especially in high traffic or underdeveloped areas?
So infrastructure. We have been deficient in infrastructure for a number of decades, not a number of years, a number of decades. I'm always telling folks and reminding them that our budget of $2.5 billion with 600,000 citizens is the same as Howard County, who has 300,000 citizens. They have 300,000 citizens and almost the exact same budget as us. And so for us, we're resource constrained. So that's why I've already started the legwork with getting these private investments and investors to pour into Anne Arundel County because our CIP program, our capital improvement program, isn't big enough to absorb all of the capital projects, road expansions, and widening projects, things like that. because it's locked up in all of these other projects we've already had in the books for the last 3 to 5, 6 years. And so for us, we have to think outside the box. So I want to be able to bring additional revenue on top of that CIP program so that I can expand roadways and make traffic a little bit easier for some of those communities, so that I can invest in transportation like buses and things like that that take people from work centers to their communities. And so we don't have a significant transportation network here in Anne Arundel County, because we've been a suburban county for so long where it's been car dependent, that the leaders over the last 50 years, quite frankly, didn't envision that we would be this metropolis, if you will, as the population has continued to improve. But yet our budget authority and the resources that we've always gotten in has always been stifled. And so that has kept us from actually having the real revenue to make those big changes. And so with my administration, we're going to go out there and actually get that private investment. We're going to invest in activities that bring in resources so that we can expand our transportation and roadways to make it easier. This past week, I've been traveling back and forth to the Pentagon. I'm still a reservist. 14 years of active duty, in the last 14 as a reservist. And the last 2 weeks, I've been doing some sort of annual training. So I've been at the Pentagon. I live 27 miles from my house to the Pentagon parking lot. And when I come home, it takes like an hour and 40 minutes to come home. So I can sympathize with folks who sit in traffic all day. I don't want them to do that. And so even though the majority of that journey is not in Anne Arundel County, it's in the Prince George's County going into the city, I know the effects of unchecked growth in a way that's going to impact communities. And so as we continue to build, I want us to build smartly and make sure that infrastructure is there so that no one has to sit in traffic for an hour and 40 minutes.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, before I pass it to Deneen, I want your Marine brother to know, don't be acting up. Don't be acting up. All right? On you, Deneen.
Oh my. Listen, Mr. Smith, I see that you have a great, we can tell that you have a great youth initiative. Like, you are on the youth and you are on what the future is. But the question I have is, what are some of the things that you are going to do or change for the working people? For the people who are, 21 to 40, what are some of those things? These are the people who are voting. The kids are not voting. So talk to us about that. So, quality of life. When you are, there's a couple of things we can do to help the folks that are in that 21 to 40 year range. One is affordability. And so that's why I passed the cottage home bill that we just recently adopted here a few months ago, because I want to get the price of housing down. The way I'm going to help them is actually to address the affordability issue. So most of these young folks, they're probably spending 50 to more than 50% of their income on housing. So how can you enjoy your life when 50 to 60% of your income is just paying rent or your mortgage? And the rest is like, piecemealing amongst your bills and your BG&E and your electricity and your food bill. And so by the time you pay all your bills, you have a measly few dollars to actually enjoy life. That is not living. I want people to thrive in Anne Arundel County. And so attacking the affordability issue head on is why I'm investing in some of the things I'm investing in when it comes to the resources with the clearances, and when it comes to the athletic things that's going to help families enjoy the time with their families, and also within the infrastructure. So that folks aren't sitting in traffic for an hour commuting back and forth. Those things matter to folks. They matter to folks who are in the workforce. But here's the beauty part of it. When you have a population that is educated, when you have a population that is successful, especially young population, businesses come. Because a lot of times, from a business standpoint, it's recruiting that is the hardest part. And so when we change the dynamics here in Anne Arundel County and become a destination where families are seeking to run to because of everything we're doing to enhance their life, businesses will follow that, because that's where the workforce is. And so when the business come, that means more jobs. So those 21 to 40-year-olds who are seeking employment, they're going to find a job, because we're going to encourage more businesses to come here by working through the various departments that we do have. I have every intention to make sure my focus when I get into office during those first couple of months is really to focus on planning and zoning.
right? That is the entry point for economics in Anne Arundel County if you are a business. I want to give those folks predictability. When they have predictability, they're more likely to come here and set up shop. When they set up shop, that creates more job opportunities. When there are job opportunities, people who are 21 and plus that are not in the education system now have a job. They now have a job and a house or apartment or whatever it is they're going to do that is affordable, because we're going to drive the development in Anne Arundel County and not hope that developers will build things that are affordable. It is my intent to actually identify land acquisition in locations where we can build affordable housing and then put those on the market so that our teachers and firefighters and police officers and folks like that have the opportunity to purchase a home so that they can build generational wealth. And so this is all stepping stones. And so you got to take care of the whole foundation. And that's how you're going to make a great county. You can't start at the top. You literally got to fix the foundation because it's broken. It doesn't work for everyone. The reason I'm going after these things, because I was at the bottom when the foundation was broken and I knew what worked for me and my family. My mom was a housekeeper. She literally cleaned beds at the Hilton for like 20 years. Washed toilets. And that's how I became successful, because she washed toilets for someone else. And so I don't want a future generations parents to have to wash toilets. I want them to be working at the agency. I want them to be working for tech companies, or to be a blue collar trades and pipe fitter and welder, jobs that are going to build our future and build our economy in a way that's going to make everyone here thrive. And that's what I'm going to be focused on.
I love that. I mean, those are great answers that you gave. And I love how you tied in the youth initiative to those 21 and 40-year-olds, because all the things that that you're going to be doing for the youth are going to trickle over into the other people, because it's going to create jobs, because they're going to need jobs to be able to help the youth out. So I love that. One of the other things that I just love that I'm hearing from you is that everything that you're saying is we and our. It's not I and it's not me. And I love that. And so I just really appreciate, that's how you're presenting it. So that's all I have for this time. Go ahead, Roger.
Thank you, ma'am. But you have a lot of, we have to call her ma'am, but we have a lot of you have a lot of plans going on out there, and your vision is great. Like I said, it's probably because of those amazing analytical skills. But we have a lot of people on Section 8. What are your plans to help those people to come off that and have a better future, so their children? Because Section 8, a lot of people have the initiative and the intuitive to pull themselves up by their bootstraps like you did. So yeah. The ones, that's not saying anything bad about them. They're still good people, and they need a little bit more initiative or a little more help to pull themselves up out of that. What plans do you have for those folks?
That's so amazing. When you come from an environment like that, my mom, my sister, two of my sisters are on Section 8, by the way, in Chicago. And so the reason it's so easy for me to sort of understand all these issues is because my whole life has been this struggle to get from zero to come up here where I'm at now, hopefully at 89%, right? And so I know what impacted them. So I know what works, right? And so for them, it's about encouraging them to be better. That we have a system from that penalizes success. For example, my sister who is on Section 8, the moment she gets a job and she starts receiving income, at some point her income, especially on the IRS when they can track it, they wind up raising her rent. Right? They will raise her rent to take probably 60% of whatever it is she earned. It's almost an incentive to not work. So you got to take away the barriers that prevent them from being motivated to go and get employed. So what I would encourage and what I would certainly pursue is, well, let's give a grace period. If someone is on Section 8 or on some sort of welfare assistance program, give them a year or two to build up that wealth so that they can have a deposit to put on an apartment, so that they can have a backlog of funding in case something goes bad. That's why my sisters struggle to go get a job, or they pay under the table. One of my sisters worked under the table for a long time because she didn't want that income showing up on the IRS, and it would impact her ability to get Section 8. And so I say the system is set up and designed to keep people on crutches. And so I would petition and work with the state as well as the federal government to find ways and programs to get them out of that. That's one piece of it. The second piece is I want to make it easier for them and the people that they care about to be successful. When I learned a skill as a lifeguard when I was younger, I didn't have to go do anything grimy. It was the police officer who changed my life, Officer Richardson. And I may have said this previously. When I went to that police station and learned how to swim, that swimming became a skill that I transferred into a lifeguard position that paid me $8.50 an hour when I was just short of 16 years old. Now, back in 94, 95, as a 16, 15-year-old earning $500 every 2 weeks, I got to tell you, I thought I was big money. I was going to McDonald's, and every time I would order something, I would say was supersize it because I just felt like I was the man. But the beauty of it is I didn't have to grind. My siblings or cousins or friends or peers who were on the street selling drugs or doing grimy things because they didn't have that skill that they can transfer into something that was easily monetized. And so I want to make sure folks who are on Section 8 with workforce development find opportunities for them to be able to get skill sets. 10 years ago, there was I don't want to say he was in a gang, but he certainly looked like he was in a gang because he had tattoos all over his face, and he was in Mead Village, and we were at the store, and we sat down, and he talked to me one day and said, man, I don't know, no one wants to hire me. And I said, well, I mean, you got all these tats on your face. I mean, you kind of scare people away. And so he's like, government, folks, they don't try to help us. I said, bet, I got you. I'm going to help you. You know what I did? I got him into a program that teaches you how to code. So it's a lady that ran a program, and they would teach them how to do HTML websites, basically SEO stuff, so they can update websites and generic but basic fundamental website configurations. But in order to get in the program, that she was going to give it to him, enroll him in there for free, you had to have a laptop. He didn't have a laptop, so you know what I did? I bought him a laptop. So that he can actually be in this program, so he can make legitimate money and take care of his daughter that he was complaining to me about not having resources to help him. He wound up staying in that program. I didn't get to follow up after to see what employment, because it was like a 6-month program, but it's those types of things. If I can do that then, I will 100% do it in the future for every other folk like him who was 22 years old or 25 years old, somewhere in that range, who was struggling to find a job. And I found a way to make him get some skills where he can be employed and change the life of his daughter.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's awesome. And we need more like that. And you really came out with some good answers. As far as that driving, I used to work at DTRA when I was in the military and DLA. So, I understand what you talk about dealing with that traffic, so when those plans you have coming up with, because I know nobody likes sitting in traffic. Nobody likes, because you have to do something crazy. So I had to be in my office at 0700. So in order to beat the traffic, and I didn't live but 30 miles away. I had to leave my house really between 0400 and 0430 to beat the traffic. Because 0500, 0530, you're in the midst of it.
Mm-hmm.
That would cause me to be late to work. So getting off work at 1700, I would just go downstairs and work out until like 1830, 1900.
Yeah.
Then I could get home in a reasonable time. But everyone don't have those opportunities to pass the time, especially on a Friday. Trying to come home at 1600, 1700 on a Friday was crazy.
So
but I'm so glad that we have somebody of your caliber and your mental skills out there, even though I'm probably gonna say something. Silk, that's Silk Sims. That's my cousin, but he was a Marine. He talking junk. So I'm gonna let go on and handle that. Go on and handle that.
That's an easy segue into leadership and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Silk, this is my last time, brother. My last time, okay? Simplify.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you see? Now, this is a leadership and strategy question, okay? What do you see as the single most pressing challenge facing our country? Our county today.
Leadership, right? I mean, I hate to say that, and it's not. I'm not saying that we're on the wrong track. I'm saying for us to grow in a way that's going to be transformative, that's actually going to be impactful in our lifetime and not 50 years from now. we have to do things that have never been done. We have to believe in things that we've never believed in. And so for me, it's about taking that mindset that I have and sort of imparting that in every single leader that's in charge of every single department, so that they can impart that in every single employee that is in every single department. And it's going to start from the top. I will lead our department and I will lead our county. No one is going to be leading me from those department levels, because we have to have a cohesive vision. The problem with Anne Arundel County is we have all of these different clusters of communities that are completely separate from each other. They have no binding identity that draws them together. If you're from Detroit, somebody gonna come, they goes, I'm from Detroit. If you're from New York City, don't matter what borough you live in, you say New York City, right? If you're from Chicago, any of these sort of big areas, they have an identity. Even Baltimore, you have an identity when you come from Baltimore. Anne Arundel County doesn't. It doesn't, because we've been this patch meal of communities over the last 60 years, and with wealthy class and poor class and middle class, and everyone kind of just doing their own thing, but not really sort of cohesively combined and working together to make sure everybody rises. And so for my goal and my job will be to make sure, whether you are in South County on the Calvert County line, or if you're in Brooklyn Park, up near Baltimore City, that there is something that binds and ties all of us together, so that we're proud of being from Anne Arundel County, and we're working towards that goal. And whatever we do best, whether it's in a farmer in South County who just farms and makes peanuts, he's going to do it in a way, or she's going to do it in a way that drives resources, so that older person who is on elder care, who's 60 years old, who needs an additional resource from the county, it's going to be a connection there. I want everything we do to have traceability to everyone else. And so for me, I think that's the biggest thing we suffer from, is an identity crisis. Who are we, and what are we going to be in 2050 or 2060? But it starts now with providing that vision and that work ethic and belief, so that everyone can get behind the same vision. That's what we're talking.
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
What we're going to do real quick, Pete, we're going to take a second, and we're going to announce some breaking news, and then we're going to get back to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Breaking news, everybody. Breaking news. We have a new show. It's about to take place this coming Sunday, and it's called We Are Better Together. Janine, on you.
Yes, so I'm so excited that Legends from the Past and the Future has a new segment. It's called We Are Better Together, when we are connecting, communicating, and collaborating. So let me tell you a little bit about it. We Are Better Together is a relationship-focused podcast hosted by a mother-daughter from two generations who are passionate about helping people build stronger connections through honest conversations, practical communication tools, and faith-centered wisdom. We will explore how relationships thrive when we intentionally connect, communicate, and collaborate. It's inspired by Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And our mission is to help people grow together, strengthen their relationships, and become sharper, help sharpen others. So we're excited about it. It's on Sunday, 6 p.m. And me and my daughter, we are ready to roll.
Question on you, Janine. All right.
Okay. So yeah, that was our breaking news, right? So I have a couple things. One of the things I just want to commend you on, I'm telling you why I think that you are the man. I think you're good leadership because you have a worldly view. And I think that's the distinction from you and the other leaders, is because you've been around the world and have been able to see a lot of different cultures, a lot of different situations. And so you bring all that back to Anne Arundel County, which is what has been lacking, because everybody has had their narrow focus. And so I just wanted to commend you on that. The question I had is, what about the people who are not struggling? What are you going to say to those people that don't look like us? How are you going to get those people to to buy in, because they don't have any worries. They don't have no concerns. They happy with status quo. So there's going to have to be some kind of get them some kind of buy-in to get them to shift their thinking.
Well, I mean, I would argue that we all are in this boat called Anne Arundel County, and this experiment is contingent on all of us being successful. If you are on a ship, just like the Titanic, there were rich people on that ship. And when that ship hit an iceberg, they all died. It didn't matter if they were rich, didn't matter if they were poor, it didn't matter if they were middle class. And so just like the Titanic, if we all don't do our part, if we're all not watching out of the bow and the stern to make sure no icebergs are coming towards Anne Arundel County, to do that part, that work, it's going to make sure we all successful. And so for those folks, if we allow crime and young people to go unchecked, without a passion or a future, they're going to steal and break into cars in rich people neighborhoods. They're going to vandalize folks who are in the middle class and steal the stuff out of their sheds. So everyone has something to lose and gain when we all are on this same ship. And so I think for those that are in the wealthy class, I would say to them, when we all rise, we all rise. And so help us make sure this boat stays intact so that none of us perish.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I mean, that's just kind of a, that goes back in line with what our new shows is. We are better together, right? So there you go. Go ahead, Armand.
Oh, she's just going to skip me. See, that's what I'm talking
about.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Roger. I'm sorry, Roger.
Airborne. Did you see that, Airborne? Did you see that? You know what it is? When you and I start talking that airborne stuff, folk get jealous.
I'm sorry.
Everybody's not supposed to exit from an aircraft while in flight. It's not for everybody. But you know what? We run out of time. I got a quick shout out. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'll probably hear from Silk about this and Sergeant Major Williams. My friend Sergeant Major Williams look at our show, but he's in Germany, so he's not looking at it now. He probably sleep. But he's gonna come after him for this. You are the sharpest and most intelligent Marine I've met 30 years in the military. And he's going to be mad because he's a sergeant major. He mad. He's a Marine sergeant major. I know he's going to hit me up tomorrow. But anyway, I just want to throw that out there real quick. And folk that's listening, I'm telling you right now, this the man. And they're like Alma says, some people may be on the fence. There is no fence. Come through the gate because this is the guy that we need. He's already, just like Deneen said, I'm a caveat on her. He's been there. He's done that. He's worldly. He didn't start off with a silver spoon in his mouth. He probably started off like majority of us, dollar store spoon. Oh, yeah. If you bite on that too hard, it's gonna bend. So and he pulled himself up. So we need to get behind this brother here, and continue to help him to do great things, And I'm gonna close out because I'm not coming back, man. Thanks for being on the show, Pete, man.
No, appreciate you. Appreciate this opportunity.
You're doing us proud.
Thank you.
Proud. Ahmed.
So, I'm going to ask you this one question. I'm going to allow our two great hosts to ask you one more. You're going to close us out, okay? Mm-hmm. And Silk, I agree with Roger. That's right. What he said is true, Silk. So I
knew he was going to come back.
Hey, so now, once you take over, once you're in office, once you are there, what will be your priorities for hiring and retaining high quality county staff members?
So we're, that's an interesting question. One, there's certainly going to be a test. The test is who's willing to sacrifice. I told you I've been in the reserves this week, and this evening, even when I leave here at home, I've been at the Pentagon all day. And when I leave this meeting here, I'm actually going to go into my regular day job, because there are some assignments, some work that needs to be done for tomorrow for my unit, for my civilian job that I work at to be successful. Now, I don't have to go in at 9:00 at night, but I'm going in at 9:00 at night. Why? Because the institution needs me to do my piece for it to be successful. And I don't want them to fail. So I'm going to go do it. No, I'm not saying that to say that people need to go to work at 9:00 or 10:00 at night. What I am asking of leaders who are going to be working with me is, are you willing to sacrifice for the communities and the families and the businesses that call Anne Arundel County home? Because they need us to do our job so that they can be successful. And if they're not willing to do that, they can't be on this train. It's as simple as that. I want someone who is going to live to make sure everything they do, it's a culture of excellence that I want to really drive out of the folks who are employed by Anne Arundel County, so that so that everyone can be successful. And so that's probably the first test that we'll gauge and look at what are they doing to make sure. In the Marine Corps, we have this thing: mission accomplishment and troop welfare, right? And I believe in that. I want that mission to be done, and I want them to take care of their employees and subordinates that are underneath them. And so I'm going to look at that transfer, that same sort of mentality that I've had and lived in the Marines for the last 28 years to county government. How am I taking care of our employees? And how are we executing on the mission? And so for me, that's one of the first things we're going to look at: who's willing to sacrifice.
That's awesome. That's
Cool.
awesome. That's awesome. Elder, you guys wouldn't understand it. Hey, look, you mentioned the Marine Corps, okay? You mentioned you would use a Marine strategy.
Oh my God.
This guy, it's your bedtime, brother. It's your bedtime. Deneen, do you have anything for our
I have one question. I think hopefully I'll phrase this correctly. I want to know, do you have like a strategy, or have you thought about the continuity of the office? How are you going to make sure that while you're implementing all your things, that the good pieces that are like already, the good pieces, meaning the good employees, all those things that are already in the office are going to be able to be retained, and you're going to be able to, build off of that?
So, and that's a good question. I don't want employees to think that I'm going to go in there and just throw a grenade in there and just destroy the whole system.
Right, exactly.
That's not the intent. I think any good leader will go in there and assess what's the strengths and weaknesses of that organization over a period of time, and then make those adjustments once they determine that here's where the stovepipes or the weaknesses are. Maybe there's some additional training that needs to be had, so they incorporate that training plan into bringing everyone up to the same knowledge base. And so for me, it's not, on day one, we're trying to flip everything upside down. As far as the leaders, though, that will sort of gauge, we do want them to have that sacrificial sort of mentality. One of the things I learned and why I enjoy being a Marine, and not even just a Marine, I think anyone who has served in the military has said to themselves at some point when they signed that dotted line that they were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for this country if it was needed. And so, but that mentality to do that is something that I value. And when I reference that with the leadership, I just want them to have that. I want to take care of the folks that are in this organization so that they can be successful. When I was a sergeant and I got promoted to staff sergeant, there was a sergeant major that used to tell me, well, you're always going to be a PFC. You're always going to be a corporal. You're always going to be a sergeant. Even when you picked up staff sergeant, you never lose those other ranks. You're always those ranks. And so they don't work for me, everyone beneath me. I work for them. It's the other way around. And so I want our leaders to have that same mentality. They work for the janitor who is wiping the toilets in the Arundel Center. And if they have that mentality, they're going to do great things for that organization. And so we are not going to go in there and just turn everything upside down. We do want to streamline things and create efficiencies within county government. So you will see those things take place over a period of time. But rest assured, our azimuth will be north. Let's go north. And so that's the direction we're going to be going.
I like that. That's great. I just wanted to just kind of reiterate that, you have a proven track record of being able to fix things. So I think people need to understand that the system has been broken for so many years. I feel like you have enough information, enough experience to go in there and make Anne Arundel County better.
Yes, ma'am. I'm the only one that's worked with 4 other county executives. So I've seen how their leadership styles have impacted decisions, indoor departments, or outcomes from the various departments. And so I've seen that. Everyone else who's in this race have only worked with 1 county executive, Stuart Pittman. I have worked with a total of 4 county executives over this period. And so I've seen what works and what doesn't. And I want to use that knowledge and those skill sets to actually improve the process for all, no matter what party. To be honest with you, I want all of us to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I have like one more quick little question, is not a question, but another statement. Yes. Because of that, you have a lot of connections. And so I feel like because you have so many connections already, that you're going to be able to get some things done.
Awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
So, go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, she don't ask like 30 questions. She was only supposed to ask 2. But I'm gonna go ahead and close out with this one. First, I want to go ahead and backtrack a little bit, cause you was a good Marine too. But this guy on point. I'm not saying you wasn't, but this guy is on point. And I understand when you come in there, a lot of people don't understand, and I know a lot of that has come from your military training. When you first take over a unit, you do a 30-day evaluation. You just don't go in there and start relieving platoon sergeants and all them folks. You do that evaluation, and it don't take no longer than 30 days. You could tell who up and who down right quickly, because before you take the unit over, folk already been telling you this person squared away, this person not. After you do your evaluation, then you you start making changes, and you don't make them fast. You make them slow. You make the small changes first, and if you make the small changes right, they inadvertently make the big changes themselves. So you already got a plan, and I hope that people realize that you have done everything that you need to do to put them in a situation where the county could prosper as a whole. And that's it. And once again, thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it. Armin.
So before I let you close us out with something encouraging, I want to welcome our brother, Elder Charles James Sr. You know, he just got on. He was at a meeting. He's normally on the show every Wednesday supporting. But I do, Emma Thomas Watkins, welcome. Hey, Pete, can you close us out with a change? Before he does that, Emma, this is what I got to say to my brother and county executive and Silk Sims out there.
Right? You're jumping on there.
I wasn't, myself and Roger, we weren't in the military. We were in the United States Army. All right. Now you can close us out.
I love it.
Well, I tell you.
It's interesting that you all mentioned the worldly view, and I do. Between Iraq and Afghanistan and Pakistan and Korea, Japan, Tajikistan, Kuwait. I mean, all these different places.
He was at Gitmo also. Don't forget
Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and Gitmo. All these different places showed me how other countries are living, and no matter how broken we seem to be at times, I still wouldn't want to live in any of those countries. Like this is definitely a great country. We just need great leaders to make sure it stays great. And so for me, I think the biggest thing that I would leave folks is I just want them to understand and to believe that everything that they've ever desired as a human, we all want some objective out of our life. We want our life to have value. And for me, I've always felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I didn't know my father. I told you all before. Met him one time when I was 21 years old. And I learned everything about being a great father from someone I never knew. Everything he was, I was going to be the opposite. And while I didn't know what right was, I knew what wrong felt like. I say that to say I know what wrong feels like in county government. And so to do things right, I'm just going to do the opposite of what that thing is. And so I would encourage all those folks to go to our website, be a part of this revolution, if you will, to transform this county in a way that's going to be beneficial for many generations of folks to come. Go to votepetesmith.com, learn about our policies and our platform, sign up on our websites, our social media. You will see that we are actively engaged in the community. Elder Charles, I've been standing on his shoulders for well over a decade. I mean, he's the type of guy who has shown us an example of what it takes to be involved in your community and to do great things. So I'm going to tell folks, be like him. And so for me, that's what I'm focused on, being like Elder Charles, taking that baton that he has handed over to us and told us to go run. Well, I say to you, Elder Charles, I am running, and I'm grateful that you have shown me an example of what great leadership looks like, and I'm excited to be the next county executive here in Anne Arundel County.
Awesome. You know what?
Get out there and vote.
Awesome show tonight. Thank you for coming on and being transparent. You definitely have a legend from the past and future show supporting you. I'm not going to tell you who's going to be on the show next week. You got to show up and see who's going to be on. But tune in Sunday at 6 p.m. to our newest show.
Don't forget Sunday, folks.
We're better together.
That's right. I'm going to be there. Don't forget Sunday.